Hello and welcome to Muffin TV, aka MTV. Wow, what a lineup we have here for you today.
We have different variety of stories on animals, games, and more.
First up today, we have Summer talking about golden retrievers.
Did you know that the breed of golden retrievers was first discovered in Scotland? Well, it was, and there is so much more to learn about golden retrievers. Now let's go right in with a golden retriever's personality. A golden's personality has so many characteristics, like energetic, friendly, gentle, and playful. There are so many cool traits about golden retrievers that not a lot of other dogs have. For example, they are so friendly to strangers and they are great with kids, and you wouldn't believe how easy they are to train. These dogs are also super athletic because they are great swimmers and love playing and fetching, and that makes it easy because they are sporting dogs and need outdoors. While a golden retriever's personality is important, so is their diet. A golden's diet is pretty simple. A few things dogs shouldn't have is chocolate and grapes. Those things can severely hurt or kill a dog. But let's focus on the good things goldens should have. For one thing, golden retrievers need a lot of water since they are very energetic. They should also be eating healthy foods and of course dog food. Golden retrievers, and all dogs in general, shouldn't have table scraps, and they should only have some human foods because some might not be healthy or they can hurt a golden retriever. A golden retriever, in my opinion, is really cute, and I'm going to tell you why they're cute. A golden is a medium-sized dog, so not too big, not too small. A golden retriever's fur can range from reddish gold to nearly white. This dog's fur is also long, thick, and soft. They have very floppy ears. Now that I have told you about a golden retriever's appearance, don't you think they are so cute? Well, that's all I have today on golden retrievers, which is their personality, diet, and appearance. If you like this, I recommend getting a golden retriever for your family.
Wow, thank you so much, Summer, for telling us about golden retrievers.
That was such an amazing experience that I want to get a golden retriever for myself.
Me as well. Next up we have Steph telling us about the Air Force.
Did you know that the Air Force had a different name in the 1947s? The Air Force has multiple jets and bombers. The planes and jets and bombers have evolved over time. The Air Force is older than you think. When the Air Force was established in 1947, it wasn't even called the Air Force. It was called the Army Air Service. When they were in World War I, the Army Air Service had dogfights, and dogfights are very brutal, life-taking fights, and a lot of people died because of it. The Air Force jets have evolved immensely from the 1947s. The old designs were chunky, slow, and not sneaky at all, nor could they go high up. The new jets are sleek and fast. They can go really high up too. The old Air Force planes flew as fast as 485 knots, which means speed, and in the 2000s went 1,000 or higher. The 2010s jets started to go up to 1,500 knots, and the newest jets can go up to 2,746 knots. The Air Force has made so many new jets. When the Air Force has new recruits or a ceremony, they do a demonstration, and the group of people known as the Thunderbirds fly the F-16. A bomber plane has the nickname Angel of Death because it wiped out half a state. Another bomber is a Spirit Bomber, which is slim, black, and sneaky bomber jet. The fastest jet is the Su-F-15. This plane was designed to blend in with the sky, so it was made blue to not be seen by enemy planes or tanks. That is the history, evolution, and types of planes. In the Army Air Force, the Angel of Death is one of the biggest bomber planes. The Air Force also has a variety of helicopters. You can also try being in the Air Force if you want to.
Thanks, Seth. So many facts we just learned about the Air Force.
I learned a lot from that, Seth.
Next up, we have Elias talking about the Hall of Famer, Tim Duncan.
When Tim Duncan was in middle school, he wanted to be a swimmer until 9th grade when he started basketball. Tim Duncan is a 5-time NBA champion and an NBA All-Star. Tim Duncan has won many awards for his great basketball playing in the NBA and in college. Let me tell you about when Tim Duncan was a kid. Tim Duncan grew up in St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands and was born on April 25, 1976. Duncan had 3 siblings, 1 brother and 2 sisters. Tim Duncan wanted to be a famous swimmer until 9th grade because a hurricane destroyed most of the island's swimming pools. Tim attended Wake University, and in 1997, he was named America's best college basketball player. Tim Duncan has won many awards. I will tell you about some. Duncan was chosen by the Spurs as the top pick in the 1998 NBA draft. Tim Duncan was Rookie of the Year in 1998. Duncan won 5 NBA championships, and the Spurs made every playoff when Tim Duncan played. He was also a 15-time NBA All-Star. In 2020, Tim Duncan was elected to the Naismith National Basketball Hall of Fame. Lastly, I'm going to tell you about Tim Duncan's stats. Tim had some pretty great seasons. Tim's best season for scoring was in 2001 to 2002. He averaged 25.5 points per game. Next, Tim Duncan's best year for rebounds was in 2002 to 2003. He averaged 12.9 rebounds per game. Tim's best year for assists was in 2002 to 2003. He averaged 3.9 assists per game. Tim Duncan's best year for blocks was in 2002 to 2003. He averaged 2.9 blocks per game. Tim Duncan is an amazing NBA player. He has great stats and many awards. Tim had a great 19-year NBA career and is one of the greatest basketball players ever.
Man, I never knew that stuff about Tim Duncan, or who he is.
How great. That was a lot of information, Elias.
Next up, we have Addison talking about polar bears.
There's a lot to learn about polar bears. Polar bears love food and hunt all different kinds of animals. And did you know that most cubs are born in December? So now let's take a look and learn more about polar bears. Polar bears eat a lot of food. An average polar bear must eat more than 4 pounds of food a day. Their favorite food is ringed seals, but if it's hard to find seals, then they eat walruses, reindeer, caribou, whales, fishes, and narwhals. Polar bears depend on different hunting skills to get the perfect amount of food. Since they live in very cold places, it is hard to find food, so they look for food everywhere they go, and they have to eat 12 kilograms of meat each day to avoid losing weight. Polar bears' habitats are very cold, but they can stay warm. Arctic sea, ice, water islands, continental coastlands is where most polar bears live. You can only find polar bears in the northern polar region of North America, like Asia and Europe. They also share their habitat with warm-blooded animals like caribou, Arctic foxes, and snowy owls. They try to stay underwater or dig dens because the den is warmer than outside. Most bears hibernate, but polar bears don't hibernate. Female polar bears have a lot of cubs, and the cubs need to be taken care of. Cubs depend on their mother to survive. They also continue to nurse up to 2 years old. When the cubs are born, they weigh less than 2 pounds, and they are also born with almost no hair and teeth, and cannot see, hear, or walk. But they start to hear once they are about a month old. The mom has to get ready for the cubs, so they dig dens so the cubs stay warmer because inside the den is so much warmer than outside. But they come out of the den once they are about 20 pounds. As you see, there is a lot to learn about polar bears. Polar bears they can be in a lot of danger because of people. Their habitat would be very cold for us. I'm sure glad not to live in their habitat, just like me. You can go and find more about your favorite animals.
Wow, Addison, that information about polar bears was so cool.
I might want to see a polar bear after hearing that.
Me too, but now we have Jordan teaching us about playing chess.
Chess is an amazing game filled with strategy, thinking ahead, and even war. It seems you want to learn about chess. Since you're still listening, it seems you want to know. Well, in that case, let's get straight into it. The main goal of the game is checkmate, or capturing the king. Let's talk about that later though. For now, let's talk about moving spots and different pieces. First off, the pawn. The pawn is always in the front row, and on its first turn, it can move 1 or 2 spaces. Other than that, only 1 space at a time, and it attacks diagonally. The king can move all spots that it is touching, including diagonally. The queen can do the same as the king, but it can do it as much as she wants. A rook can move every space straight back, left to right from where it is. That is same for the bishop, but it travels diagonally instead of side to side. Last but not least, the knight, which is kind of confusing, but it goes 2 spaces up or down and 1 over from where it is in all directions. Chess is a game where 2 players capture each other's pieces in hope of beating their opponent. The most important part of the game is checkmate. Checkmate is when a king is in check and it is unable to move anywhere else, or else it gets captured. Check is when a king can get captured if it does not move out of the space that it is currently in. And resigning is when your opponent gives up. Another thing we should discuss is the chessboard. On the chessboard, there are 32 light squares and 32 dark squares, so 64 squares in all. This is so you can see where your pawns and pieces are going. Also, there are 3 special moves that you can do. First off, you are able to swap a pawn out for exchange for a knight, rook, bishop, or my personal favorite, a queen. Also, if a rook is to the left and a king is to the right or the other way around,
you are able to swap them out. Lastly, en passance is when a pawn can go diagonally over a pawn and it will capture that pawn. Personally, I'm quite the chess fan, and now that you know how to play chess, you should try playing yourself. Now remember, don't resign too early. It's never too late to turn the game around.
That was neat. Now that I have learned all of that, I think I will win at all chess games I play in the future.
Yeah, I enjoy playing chess, but I think I like learning about it even more.
Last but not least, we have me, Ben.
Did you know that the 24-hour Shuffle Moss is part of a racing championship? What I will be talking about is what it is, the history of the race, and some famous races. What are the 24-hour Shuffle Moss? I will go over that right now. The 24-hour Shuffle Moss is a race that lasts 24 hours, and as the name suggests, it has no brakes. The cars, instead of having brands like Bass Pro Shops, they support car brands like Ford, BMW, etc. The track is mostly French roads that the race officials close off. Instead of starting in the car, the racer has to run to the car, jump in, and then go. The 24-hour Shuffle Moss is part of a big racing endurance championship. That is enough explaining the 24-hour Shuffle Moss. Now onto the history of the race. Now I'm going to talk about the 24-hour Shuffle Moss history. The race has been happening since 1923, and the only time this race has stopped was in World War II. When it started, the track was all real French roads that they closed off for the race. In 1967 is when they started to celebrate the winner, which is kind of a big part of the current race. Now let us talk about the people behind the wheel. Finally, I'm going to talk about the racers. The first driver I will talk about is Ken Miles. He won in 1966 for Ford, but in 1965 he almost won, but was a tad bit short. He is now in the Racing Hall of Fame. The next racer I will be talking about today is Tom Christensen. He raced mainly for BMW and drove for Audi for some time. Tom had a staggering 9 wins, and for this reason, he is sometimes called Mr. Le Mans. Oliver Gittleban was a racer for Ferrari in the 1950s to 60s with 4 wins. The last person I will be talking about is Emile Perro, who raced for Audi with Christensen and got 3 wins. There are a lot of races to go over, so now it's closing time. To go over everything I talked about real quick is what the race is, history of the race, and some famous racers. I hope after all this you learned a thing or two. After hearing this, I encourage you to watch the race on June 10th to June 11th this summer.
After listening to all that, I want to go home and research even more about the 24 hours of the Moss.
Wow, after hearing everything we have today, I think I am so much smarter than I was before this experience.
Me too. I liked every single one of those topics, and we hope you did as well.
When I get home, I'm going to want to research even more about the subjects.
I think I will too.
Me 3. Well, we hope you enjoyed our Facts on Muffin TV. Have a great day.
Hello and welcome to the stupendous news station. We are known for our random stories and interesting topics, right Madison?
Of course, Tegan. Even though our topics are completely different, each one has a little bit of spice.
That is 100% correct, Madison, and we have an arsenal of splendid stories ready and waiting. Speaking of arsenal, up first with World War II is me.
Have you heard of World War II? You probably have. That's because it shaped the countries around the world. Major empires fell and lots of things changed. One of the most brutal wars in history started when a German dictator named Adolf Hitler rose to power. He hated Jewish people and blamed them for every world problem. So, Adolf set his sights on taking over a major Jewish refugee, Poland, in Europe. Hitler and his newfound ally, Joseph Stalin, took Poland over. The UK and France, being major allies with Poland, declared war on Germany, but they did not know what they were up against. Since Germany had invaded Poland, the war had begun. There were 2 sides in this major conflict, the enemies being the Axis powers containing Germany, Italy, and Japan. They were trying to get later, Italy joined the Allies, which was on the opposite side. The Allies were a larger side containing countries like the USSR, America, UK, and Australia. But the war was not about the countries. Some of the major battles that built World War II were so major that they need to be discussed. A battle known as the Battle of Normandy, but more well known as the Battle of D-Day, was a large success for the Allies, as it helped gain back France. It was towards the end of the war in Europe, lasting from June 6, 1944 to August of 1944, on the beaches of Normandy, France. Another important battle was the attack on Pearl Harbor. This battle made America so mad that they decided to finally join the war. The attacks only lasted one day on December 7th, 1941. It was at a naval fleet base in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. The last war I will mention was crucial to ending the war, and that was the Battle of Berlin, lasting from April 6th, 1945 to May 2nd, 1945. Well, that is all we can really fit into today's lesson on World War II. This war was very brutal and lasted for 7 years. That's almost as old as I am. I hope this sparked your interest and makes you want to learn more about World War II, just like I did.
Thank you, Brody. Wow, I learned a lot about World War II. Next up, we have Julia teaching us about hedgehogs. Over to you, Julia.
Did you know that a hedgehog has over 7,000 quills? Hedgehogs are amazing animals. Now I'll teach you about their habitat. When a hedgehog is around 3 to 4 weeks, it leaves its home and only goes as far as 1¼ miles. When a hedgehog looks for its new home, it does not like dense woods. In the night, they like to run around in farmland, parks, and yards. Hedgehogs live alone. During the day, they like to sleep in underground, or in piles of leaves. After sunset, they wake up and hunt, then find a place to hide again before dawn. When a mom hedgehog has a baby, she stays with them during the day and leaves them during the night to get food. After the birth, the baby is in danger because it can't move. After a few days, the baby starts getting quills and its eyes start to open. During the birth, the mom builds a nest under dead woods so the baby is comfortable when born. She makes sure it is near water so she can leave and come back quickly. A hedgehog has a small face, long snout, and has an oval-shaped body, and it's the same weight as a football. A hedgehog is covered with quills so it can protect itself when a predator is coming at them. I hope you learned a lot about hedgehogs. I recommend that you get a hedgehog.
Thank you, Julia. I wish I had a hedgehog now. Next up is Jameson, who is informing us about Steph Curry.
Have you ever heard of Steph Curry? Well, if you have not, today I'll be sharing the life of Steph Curry. I hope you enjoy amazing facts about Steph Curry's early life and his career. Steph Curry was born on March 14, 1988 in Charlotte, North Carolina. He played many sports like football, soccer, and basketball. In high school, college scouts did not think he was good enough to play for them. He averaged 18 points per game in high school, and then he went to college at Davidson University in North Carolina. Steph Curry got selected in round 1, pick 7 to the Golden State Warriors in 2009. But before he got drafted, Steph Curry led Davidson College to win the Southern Conference Finals in 2007. In college, he averaged 21.5 points per game. He did not end up finishing college because he got drafted in his junior year. In his second game of the NCAA, he had 32 points. He made the 2014 All-Star NBA team. In that same year, he averaged 24 points per game. The year before that, he set a record for 272 three-pointers in one season. In the 2015-2016 NBA season, Stephen Curry led the Warriors to a 73-9 record during the season. In that same season, he broke his three-point record by making 402 three-pointers in one single season. During Steph Curry's NBA season, he won 4 NBA championships between the years 2009 and current. A lot of kids think he's the best point guard ever in the NBA right now. And he's also hosted charity events, NBA camps, and more to help the young generation. He continues to play in the NBA today. He's very inspirational to the young generation. Some fun facts about Steph Curry is that when he was 10, he met Kevin Durant at a youth basketball event. And then in 2016, they later became teammates. I hope you enjoyed my story today after hearing about Steph Curry. Hopefully you can go check out his games.
Thanks, Jameson. I just learned a ton of stuff about Steph Curry. Next up is Madison with Beagles.
Do you have a favorite animal? I do. My favorite animal is a beagle, the animal that's always ready for an adventure. Today we're going to learn about beagles. Have you ever seen a beagle? They have a very unique appearance. They have long, round, floppy ears with their square-shaped muzzle. Their beautiful blue eyes and long tail will make you want 8,000 of them. Their short hair is usually a mix of white, black, and tan. In my opinion, they're the cutest animals ever. Beagles love the outdoors. Here are some of their favorite activities. Beagles originated from England and were introduced to the United States in 1870. In England, beagles are bred for hunting. They are very famous for hunting down rabbit. They are also known as escape artists. That means they can escape a normal 4-foot fence and they can dig underground. For all these reasons, beagles keep their owners on their toes. Beagle babies are so adorable, but here's a few things you need to know if you get one. When you want to add a beagle puppy to your family, training is very essential to raising a puppy. You need to make sure you teach them influential skills. They need to know what is right and wrong. If they learn early on, they will know all the rules as they grow up. They also need to get lots of exercise, so make sure they go outside a lot. Beagles also do not have the best hearing, so you need to talk to them like you're talking to your great-grandma. I'm sure after hearing all of this, you are going to be searching for a beagle pet of your own. Beagles have so many good qualities and are so lovable. Imagine if we all had Beagles. How wonderful would that be?
Thanks, Madison. Great facts in that report. Next up, we have Tegan talking about a well-known company, Nike.
Did you know Nike used to be called Blue Ribbon Sports? I bet you didn't. Nike has grown from just being in a small little town in Oregon to being the world's largest athletic apparel company. Now let's talk more about Nike. You may be wondering what Nike is. Nike is headquartered in Beaverton and was also founded in 1964, back when it was called Blue Ribbon Sports. Nike is owned by Bill Bowerman and Phil Knight. Nike's logo is a curved check mark called the swoosh. Part of Nike's successes are owned by athletes such as Michael Jordan, Dwayne Johnson, and many more athletes. Nike sells many things such as athletic footwear, apparel, equipment, and accessories. They are very popular for their shoes. They have even sold shoes for $2 million called the Solid Gold OVO Air Jordans that Drake had purchased. Although they have very expensive shoes, they offer very affordable things, such as sports balls, clothing, and accessories. You may or may not know about Nike's accomplishments. They have so many. So let's talk about some. Nike sells to 170 countries. They have over 30,000 worldwide employees. They serve millions of consumers with thousands of products. They are also the world's largest athletic footwear and apparel company. Overall, Nike has very cool facts and is very successful. I personally think Nike's sweatsuits are very comfortable. Maybe you would like them.
Thank you, Tegan. I didn't know all that about Nike. Now we're going to hear from Jax as he teaches us about soccer.
Soccer is one of the fastest growing sports in the world. It is also very intense to watch. It also has a history that goes way back. Soccer could be created in the early 1800s, maybe even before that. Most people think that in soccer there was no violence, but they don't know that back then people were punching, kicking, and trying to pull each other's eyes out to get the ball. In 1863, they made rules for the game. After they made rules for the game of soccer, the British settlers introduced soccer to India, then Europe in the 1920s. Then less than a decade later, they introduced it to South America. After British settlers introduced it to South America, the Europeans showed soccer to North America. Positions are the key to winning the game. For example, if every person on your team wants to get a goal, then that means that no one is protecting the ball from going in your goal. There are 11 people on the field in a professional game or match. There are also 5 positions, which are offense, defense, midfield, striker, and goalie. The first position is offense. Offense is a position that attacks toward the goal and tries to get a point for their team. Defense has a job to keep the soccer ball out their own goal. The main thing is to pass back to the offenders. Next is midfield. Midfield is one of the hardest to do or the most draining. Midfield is doing offense and defense combined. If you want to be a midfielder, then you have to have a lot of energy running from one place to the other. Striker is the next position. A striker is the main line of offense, and there is only one person as a striker. And most people pass to the striker since you have to have a talent to be a striker. The last position is the goalie. Most of you probably already know what a goalie is. If you don't know what a goalie is, it's basically just being in the goal and you can touch the ball with your hands and kick the ball. There's also kicks in the game. We have corner kicks, goal kicks, penalty kicks, and a throw-in, which you throw with the ball. Corner kicks are the same like others. It is like if one of your opponents touches the ball last and it goes past their goal, then you or one of your teammates kicks it from the corner of the field. It is closest to before going out. Goalie kicks are the same as corner kicks but reversed. If you touch the ball last and it went out, then the opponent's goalie or one of the opponents kicks it from the goal. Penalty kicks are just a result for fouling someone, and you would kick the ball from where you got fouled. But if you were fouled in the goalie box, then you have a free shot of getting a goal. A free throw is the same thing as a corner kick and a goalie, but with the sideline, and you throw it into the field and it has to go over your head to throw it. Soccer stadiums are where professional games are held. Thousands of people sit there and cheer for the people at games. Like most of the other sports, soccer stadiums are huge, and some stadiums have enough seats for 100,000 people, but most stadiums hold around 75,000. Soccer fields are also very big, with lengths of 100 to 130 feet and width being 50 to 100 feet. You probably know that big stadiums need a lot of electricity and bathrooms to make people satisfied with the stadium they are sitting in. Stadiums in general have around 800 toilet seats, maybe even more. As I said, stadiums need a lot of electricity and toilets to power them, and plus all the pipes. Soccer has a lot of cool history, rules, and huge stadiums around the world. Back in the day, there was punching and kicking until it became an organized formation with the addition of positions. Soccer is such an interesting sport in the world. I hope you want to play soccer after hearing all that.
Thank you, Jax. That was very interesting. Next, we have Jack telling us about dirt bikes. Over to you, Jack.
Did you know that dirt biking started in the 1920s? There's so much to learn about dirt biking. Dirt biking is such a fascinating sport to learn about. There are so many world records, and some are really cool. The first person to ever do a double and triple backflip on a dirt bike was Travis Pastrana. The first race ever was in the late 1920s. The first person to ever film dirt bike racing was Nick Nicholas. These are just some of the world records. A lot of people ride dirt bikes, and you can too, but you need gear to ride. Some gear that is needed is dirt biking boots, ribcage pads, leather pants, helmet, gloves, goggles, shoulder pads, and knee pads. All this gear will help the rider stay safe. You can also ride dirt bikes. You can be any age, but should probably be 3 or older. Races can take in any sort of place. Some can be in the rain or in the snow. Sometimes they can be inside or outside, and they're always race on dirt so they don't slide. I know from personal experience that racing dirt bikes is fun as long as you are safe. I hope you enjoyed it about dirt bikes. You should buy one because they are better than being on your phone.
Great details, Jack. Wow, weren't those facts so interesting?
Oh yeah, they were, Madison. World War II, hedgehogs, soccer, and more.
That's it for today. Thank you for watching this stupendous news station. See you next time.
Hi, and welcome to the Animal Athletes Network. We are known for bringing you the top stories, and today is no different. We have 6 epic stories for you.
Up first, we have Danica's research about sea turtles. Do you know how big sea turtles can be? Let's see. Hopefully you will enjoy this turtly tubular presentation. No. Have you ever heard of a leatherback sea turtle? You may have heard of regular sea turtles, or even just a turtle. But today I'm going to be talking about the amazing animal, the leatherback sea turtle. Well, first, here's a little bit about their appearance. The leatherback sea turtle is actually the biggest turtle in the entire world. A little fun fact is that the leatherback sea turtle can get to be as big as a single bed. Plus, they can get as heavy as a whole entire refrigerator. Imagine trying to carry that. Also, a little bit about their diet. Leatherback sea turtles have strange food choices. Their favorite food is actually jellyfish. Imagine having raw jellyfish for almost all your meals. They also sometimes eat seaweed and small fish, so it's not just jellyfish all the time. Just like other female animals, the leatherback sea turtle also lays eggs. When they lay eggs, they start off by going over to the sand and digging a hole for the eggs. Once the eggs are in the hole, they usually guard the hole from predators, like dogs, kids, and other sea animals. Did you know in the 1930s, a leatherback sea turtle was found to lay 90 to 130 eggs in one nest? That is a lot. Anyway, I hope you learned at least one thing new today about leatherback sea turtles. I hope you like everything about the leatherback sea turtles' appearance, diet, and about them laying eggs.
Thank you, Danica. That was great. Next, we have Lennon telling us about Kobe Bryant. Did you know that he has 2 Olympic gold medals? There's a lot more that Lennon's going to tell us about. Now let's Kobe into this. Kobe!
Have you heard the name Kobe Bryant? He was a professional basketball player that has made a big name for himself in not just the basketball world, but in the normal world too. He had a really cool childhood. Let's look into that. Kobe Bean Bryant was born on August 23, 1978. He was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. His father played in the NBA at the time. Kobe started loving basketball at 3 years old. He had 2 sisters, both older than him. Kobe and his family moved to Italy, and when he was six, his family lived in Italy for 8 years, still visiting Pennsylvania every summer. Kobe grew up playing basketball in both countries. When Kobe was 14 years old, his family moved back to Philadelphia. He went to Lower Merion High and made the basketball team, even winning the championship his senior year. After high school, he decided to skip college and go straight to the NBA draft. He was drafted in 1996 by the Charlotte Hornets. He had not even played a game before he got traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. That was the team he wanted to get drafted by because his favorite player, Magic Johnson, played there.
Shaquille O'Neal got traded to the Lakers around the same time. Then, 2 seasons later, he became the youngest NBA player to ever play in the All-Star game. Kobe also won the dunk contest that same All-Star weekend. The 2000-2001 NBA season was when Kobe won his first title. After the win, he said he would win back-to-back-to-back NBA finals. And he did, winning the 2001, 2002, and 2003 titles. During that same 2002-2003 season, he scored his 10,000th point, which was a huge accomplishment for him. Shaq got traded the next season, and many blamed Kobe for getting him traded due to the bad blood between one another. Later, on December 20th, 2005, he scored 61 points, which was his highest scoring game ever. Later in the season, on January 22nd, 2006, he scored 81 points and had a buzzer beater shot. That sealed his highest scoring game ever. The first game of the 2006-2007 season, fans noticed that he was no longer wearing the number 8. He was wearing the number 24. The Lakers that season made it all the way to the finals, only to get beat by the Phoenix Suns. The following season, the Lakers made it all the way to the finals again, but yet still were beaten in the final game by the Boston Celtics. He also won MVP that season along with an Olympic gold medal. The next season, Kobe carried his confidence from the Olympics and made it all the way to the finals and won the championship. Next season, he made it in the finals for the 4th time in a row, and this time against the Celtics, the matchup he wanted. The Lakers won the championship again in 7 games. Later in his career, he played in the Summer Olympics again and won his 2nd gold medal. Then, in 2013, he tore his left Achilles and couldn't play for 6 weeks. Finally, in 2016, on April 13th, he scored 61 points and then retired. When he retired, he had many accomplishments, such as being on the All-Defensive First Team 9 times and All-NBA Team 11 times. He won 5 championships and 2 Olympic gold medals. He was also a Finals MVP 4 times, All-Star Game MVP 4 times, Rookie All-Star Game MVP 1 time. Finally, he was the NBA scoring champion 2 times and MVP in 2008. After Kobe's retirement, Vanessa, Kobe's wife, and Kobe raised money for several different charities. He also wrote many books, such as The Mamba Mentality, How I Play, the Wizenard series for kids, and Dear Basketball. He also made Dear Basketball into a short film, which won an Oscar award. Later, he started coaching Gigi, his second oldest daughter's basketball team from the Mamba Sports Academy. Then, on one tragic day, he got back from church to pick up Gigi and her squad and their parents in his helicopter, but it suddenly lost control and all 7 passengers died in a crash. This was a devastating moment for all, especially his family. To this day, Kobe will always be remembered as a champion not just on the court, but off the court too. I hope that if you didn't know a lot about Kobe, now you know more. Have a Kobe-ular day. Kobe!
Great job, Landon. Are you playing Roblox?
No. Have you ever played Roblox before? Well, if you haven't, it's a blast. And there are over 40 million games. 40 million! That is a lot. And here's Graham to teach us some Roblox facts.
Roblox is an online game platform created by David Baszucki and Eric Cassell. Roblox has been around since 2006. David had created a 2D physics simulator for education, which later inspired him to make the online game. David called his game Dynablox, but the game was later renamed Roblox. His Roblox username is Builderman. Roblox has over 40 million games. Roblox is free to get. You can get it for Mac, iOS, Android, and on an iPad, and even on an Xbox. When you get Roblox on your device, you will see a sign-up form. Before you can play, you will need to fill out the information. You then make your username, but do not use your real name, and make sure you have a secure password or you could be easily hacked. When you first go into Roblox, you can only play certain games, but after 30 days, you are able to play all the games. At the start of the game, your character or avatar is kind of generic and is called a bacon hair. Bacon hair is the starter skin of the game. If you want to change your character, just press customize. Then it brings you to what category you choose. There is a shop and you can customize. If you go to the shop, there will be a couple of free stuff and characters. There will be some stuff that costs Robux, which is the game's currency. If you want Robux, ask a parent to buy some for you or get a Robux gift card. When you get Robux, you can buy game passes and games and also items for your avatar too. You can play any games on Roblox
and some games may be fake or they are scams. One of the most popular games on Roblox is Piggy. The game is inspired by the Peppa Pig character, but the Roblox game is a scary game. Now you know all about Roblox.
Thank you, Graham. Next, we have Bryn telling us about Holland Lop rabbits. Did you know that this breed of rabbit is really inexpensive compared to other rabbits? Now let's hop over to Bryn. Get it? Oh.
The pet store is always filled with amazing pets, but there's one that draws your eye. It's the cutest bunny you've ever seen, but it's not just a bunny, it's the Holland Lop rabbit. I'll tell you the care, needs, facts, and history of the Holland Lop rabbit. I will first tell you how to care for your Holland Lop. The Holland Lop diet consists of hay. You could try different fruits such as apples and carrots to see what they like. Just make sure not to give them too many fruits, as too many fruits might make them sick. You could use the fruits they like for training as a treat. These bunnies generally don't get sick, except for occasional ear infections and parasites or mites. The Holland Lop is a friendly, curious, and energetic breed of bunny. They need 3 hours a day of out-of-cage exercise. This breed usually lives 7 to 14 years. Now I will tell you the Holland Lop's must-haves. The Holland Lop needs to be brushed daily due to their dense fur. During molting season, which is 3 to 5 weeks in winter, you should brush the bunny 2 to 3 times a day so they don't get their fur stuck in their throat, and so you keep your house clean. Health, as I mentioned earlier, is simple to deal with. Parasites or mites can easily be treated. A simple spot treatment or injection can deal with it. An antibiotic can deal with an ear infection. The bunny's cage needs small areas of bedding cleaned daily, as all bedding should be replaced weekly. The minimum cage size is 24 inches by 60 inches. Here are some fun facts about the Holland Lop. These bunnies chew a lot. If you're going to get the bunny hop around your house, keep all cords, wires, or anything chewable out of reach. This breed tends to be inexpensive. They cost between $20 and $400. The healthier ones are usually more expensive because they are mostly bred by a more experienced breeder. Some of the Holland Lop's colors are smoke, pearl, cream, and fawn. The last thing I want to teach you is the Holland Lop's history. The Holland Lop was bred in the Netherlands by Adrian de Cook. The Holland Lop's ancestors are the Netherland Dwarf Rabbit, French Lop, and English Lop. The miniature Lop and Holland Lop are similar, but the Holland Lop has a rounded head and fur crown on its head as well, unlike the miniature Lop. Well, now you know about the bunny you may see at the pet store. You know how to care for it, you know what it needs, you know some facts about it, and you know about its history. So maybe you can get that bunny now you know about it. I hope you learned a little bit about this amazing bunny breed.
Thank you, Bryn. That was great information to learn. Here's a dude who has not so great jokes telling you about Chihuahuas will be Chase, and he loves dogs. Chase and his friend even created a song about Chihuahuas. We'll let those dogs out.
Chihuahua,
hey.
Chihuahua.
Over to you, Chase.
Have you ever wanted a dog? Well, so have I, and guess what kind of dog I want? Well, you probably got it. It's a Chihuahua. The Chihuahua is the smallest breed of dog, and here are the details. There are 2 kinds of Chihuahuas, a short-haired Chew and a long-coated Chew. I personally would prefer a short-haired Chihuahua, but that's just me. Chihuahuas are believed to be of the Asian origin. There's really no difference between the 2 kinds of Chihuahuas other than the length of their hair. There's some info about Chihuahua's appearance. Chihuahuas weigh up to 6 pounds. They have big ears and eyes, which give them great senses. Their eyes come in many shades of color, such as brown, cream, white, and tan. They're only 12.7 inches tall and 1 to 2 feet long. Their fur is usually light brown, tan, or black. There are also some things you need to know about taking care of them. And here are some tips for that. If you ever breed them, they give birth to 3 to 6 pups at a time. They only need 20 to 30 minutes of exercise per day. They're considered adults after 6 to 18 months. Do not let your dog jump from any height over 2 feet. It'll cause knee problems when they're older. You can feed them baby carrots with each meal to improve their health. Well, we surely have learned a lot about Chihuahuas here. Hopefully you feel you know all about Chihuahuas, from how to take care of them, what they need, and how they look. If they have a buy one, get one free at the pet store, can I have one? As you can see, they're a small but cute dog. Last but not least, we have Nathan telling us about basketball facts, like how LeBron James has the most points in NBA history.
The NBA is super fun to watch, but even more fun to learn about. Basketball is truly fascinating. Let me tell you why. It all started when a gym instructor at the YMCA in 1891 created the game, not knowing that it would later become a worldwide sport. He made it just to keep the students from being super bored while it rained. It later became a worldwide sport in 1905. The game was played with 2 peach baskets on each side of the court that had no backboard, making it really hard to score. It also was first played with the soccer ball instead of the traditional basketball. After every point scored, it was retrieved by someone on a ladder. Then the game would proceed. In basketball, there are many different records for many different aspects of the game, one of which is held by the world-famous basketball player, LeBron James, with the most points scored in the NBA. He has a total of 38,652 points. Although some people are good at shooting, others are good at rebounding. Take Wilt Chamberlain as an example. He is an outstanding rebounder with over 23,924 rebounds. A few more records include Chris Paul with 11,501 assists. There's also Andrew Bynum and Nat Hickey as the youngest and oldest players to ever play in the NBA. Before I go, there are a few fun facts about basketball I want to share with you. One is, did you know that basketball is the most popular indoor sport in the world, and you can see it being played in over 150 countries? Also, the player Gerald Green does not have his ring finger on his right hand, therefore he only has 9 fingers. In conclusion, you have learned about the history, important basketball records, and a few fun facts about basketball. I hope that you learn enough to pick up a basketball and maybe you'll even want to do a few drills.
Well, thanks for watching the Animal Athletes Network, and hopefully you liked my humor.
Well, I certainly didn't. This is AM signing off.